Welcome to the QuickBooks Chapter 11 lecture video. In this chapter, we learn about the time tracking feature in QuickBooks. Companies often track revenue earned from jobs, money taken in, and expenses such as payroll and materials spent on jobs or projects. This allows the company to determine how profitable the project was. The company can learn the profit from the job by subtracting expenses from revenue. The time tracking feature must be activated in QuickBooks like the payroll feature is activated. In manual accounting, revenue and expenses are recorded in several journals as well as the subsidiary ledger. In QuickBooks, a job is created as part of the customer's file in the Customer Center. Information relevant to the job, such as name, status, start date, and description, is entered. Revenue is recorded in the Create Invoices or Enter Sales Receipts window. The revenue can be identified to a particular job. When these transactions are recorded, they simultaneously update the general ledger for the revenue earned, the customer file for the account receivable, and the job file for the job revenue. The Pay Employees windows allow you to identify the time spent or salary expense related to the job. The time tracking feature in QuickBooks is used to track the billable time allocated to the jobs. Billable time by job is recorded in the weekly timesheet window for each employee. This information is then carried to the Pay Employees window when payroll is processed. There, the payroll expense is allocated to the identified jobs. This information is also used in the Create Invoices or Enter Sales Receipts windows to bill customers by job based on the billable time. Most of you should be familiar with the Customer Center as we have worked with it in several previous chapters. In this chapter, we will use it to create jobs and associate them with a customer file. On May 1st, 2017, Kristen Reyna Interior Designs was awarded a contract to redesign the lobbies of 3 hotels owned by Hamilton Hotels. Kristen Reyna wants to track the revenue and payroll expenses for each of the 3 jobs. To add a job, click Customers and click Customer Center. At the Customer Center window, select or highlight Hamilton Hotels. Click the New Customer and Jobs button. At the New Customer and Job menu, click Add Job. At the Job Name field, key Lakeside Hotel. At the Job Info tab, key the job description, job status, start date, and projected end date. If the information is correct, click OK. You are returned to the Customer Center where the Lakeside Hotel job is listed below Hamilton Hotels as a subfile, and the job data is displayed on the Job Information page. Complete Practice Exercise 11-1 on page 11-6. Note: be sure to click on Hamilton Hotels in the left pane before entering the 2 additional jobs. Click the New Customer and Job button, click Add Job, enter the information, and click OK. Practice Exercise 11-1 continued. The updated Customer Center is shown with the 3 jobs indented under the customer name. Kristen Reyna and her employee Richard Henderson are both doing decorating work for Hamilton Hotels. To view the item list, click Lists on the main menu and click Item List. The item list has been modified to show Kristen Reyna's rates of $50 and $60 for decorating and design services by owner. Richard, her assistant, is designated as assistant for $40 each. For practice exercise 11-2, we will add the design services item for the assistant. To add the item, click the item button and click New. Enter the information shown on page 11-8 and click OK. The updated item list is shown. Kristen Reyna wants to charge the payroll expenses to each project to measure the profitability of each project. Kristen Reyna kept track of the hours spent on each job by both Richard Henderson and herself for the first payroll in May. Richard worked 25 hours at Lakeside Hotel, 35 hours at Mountainside Hotel, and 28 hours at Riverside Hotel, which is a total of 88 hours. To pay an employee and allocate to jobs, click Employees and click Pay Employees to open the Enter Payroll Information window. Enter the information shown and click the Open Paycheck Detail button to open the Preview Paycheck window. Make sure the dates in the upper left corner are correct as shown on page 11-11. Using the drop-down arrows provided, click Hourly Wages as shown here and on page 11-11. Type in the number of hours for each column as shown. Enter the company and employee payroll tax information as shown. Verify that the check amount is correct and click Save and Close. You are returned to the Enter Payroll Information window. Click Continue. If the information is correct, click Create Paychecks. At the Confirmation and Next Steps window, click Close. We created customer invoices in Chapter 3. We will create invoices for a job in this chapter. The difference is that at the Customer Job drop-down list, we will select the job rather than the customer. Click Customer on the main menu, then click Create Invoices. At the Billable Time/Costs window, choose the second option to exclude outstanding billable time and costs and click OK. Refer to page 11-13. Enter the information shown and click Save and New. Complete practice exercise 11-3 on page 11-14 using information shown on the bottom of page 11-12 and click Save and New. Practice problem 11-3 continued. Click Save and Close when finished entering the information. To activate the time tracking feature in QuickBooks, click Edit and then click Preferences. See page 11-15. Using the arrow in the left pane, scroll down until you see Time and Expenses and click it. Click the Company Preferences tab. Click Yes, Accept Monday, and click OK. Click OK in the warning window that pops up. The Weekly Timesheet window is used to enter the daily work activities of employees and owners on a weekly basis. Each employee/owner indicates the number of hours worked for a customer or job. The daily hours are entered along with the customer or job name and the type of service performed into the timesheet window. This information does not generate a transaction or journal entry. Instead, the information is used to help invoice customers for work and prepare the payroll for employees. Please refer to pages 11-15 and 11-16 to read more on the timesheet feature. To enter time tracking in the weekly timesheet, click Employees and then click Enter Time. Click Use Weekly Timesheet in the submenu. In the timesheet window, use the drop-down arrow to click Richard Henderson in the name box. At the Transfer Activities in Payroll box, click Yes. Click the calendar icon. Using the scroll arrow, scroll over to May of 2017. click May 15th on the calendar icon. This returns you to the weekly timesheet window. Follow the instructions on pages 11-16 through 11-18 to enter this information. The hours for Mountainside and Riverside are found in the table on the bottom of page 11-16. Then click the Next button found in the upper left corner of the screen to move to the next payroll week. On the payroll week for May 22nd through 28th, enter the information from the chart on the bottom of page 11-16, then click the Next button. Using the table on page 11-16, enter the information for May 30th and 31st, then click Save and New. Complete the practice exercise 11-4 on page 11-20. Change the name to Kristen Reyna. Using the calendar icon, change the date to May 15th through 21st. Enter the Job and Design Services owner. Enter the hours from page 11-20, then click Next. Using the table on page 11-20, enter the hours for the week of May 22nd through 28th, then click Next. Using the table on page 11-20, enter the hours for May 30th through 31st, then click Save and Close. In the timesheet window, click the Print button in the upper left corner. Change the dates as shown. Click in the name box and the names will show, then click OK. At the Print box, change the printer name to PDF, then click Print. This is the first page of Richard Henderson's timesheet. Refer to page 11-22. To pay an employee and allocate payroll costs using time tracking, click Employees and then click Pay Employees. Change the date to May 31st, 2017. Make sure the account is 1020. Make sure the first check number is 8. Click to place a check mark beside Richard Henderson. Click the Open Paycheck Detail button. Fill in the company and employee tax information from page 11-22 and click Save and Close. You are returned to the Enter Payroll Information window. Click Continue. At the Review and Create Paychecks window, click Create Paychecks. At the Confirmation and Next Steps box, click Close. To create an invoice using time tracking, click Customers and then click Create Invoices. Refer to page 11-24. Enter the date. Make sure the invoice number is 1014. At the Customer Job drop-down list, click Lakeside Hotel. The Billable Time/Cost box opens. Accept the first option and click OK. In the Choose Billable Time and Costs box, there should be check marks next to each item. Click OK. At the Invoicing for Vendor Time box, click OK. Make sure the information is correct and click Save and New. Complete the practice exercise 11-5 on page 11-25. Change the customer job to Mountainside Hotel. At the Billable Time Costs box, accept the first option and click OK. At the Choose Billable Time and Costs box, click Select All. Each item should have a check mark beside it. Click OK. At the Invoicing for Vendor Time box, click OK. At the Create Invoices box, make sure everything is correct and then click Save and New. The practice exercise 11-5 continues. Change the customer job to Riverside Hotel. At the Billable Time Costs box, accept the first option and click OK. At the Choose Billable Time and Costs box, click Select All. Each item should have a check mark beside it. Click OK. Click OK at the Invoicing for Vendor Time box. Click the Save and Close box. To create a customer statement, click Customers and then click Create Statements. At the Create Statements box, change the statement date to 5/31/2017 and the period dates to 2/1/2017 and 5/31/2017. Click the One Customer button and click the down arrow and click Hamilton Hotels. Make sure the Intuit Standard Statement template is showing and the Print Due Date on Transactions box is checked. Then click the Preview button. This is the report shown on page 11-27. Save the report as a PDF. Close the report and the Create Statements window. To print the Profit and Loss by Job report, click Reports, point to Jobs, Time and Mileage, scroll over to the submenu and click Profit and Loss by Job. Change the dates to 5/1/2017 and 5/31/2017 and click the Refresh button. The report displays. Click the File button on the main menu and click Save as PDF. Navigate to your Chapter 11 Practice Problem folder and name the report Profit and Loss by Job. To print the Time by Job Summary report, click the Reports button on the main menu, point to Jobs, Time and Mileage, scroll over to the submenu and click Time by Job Summary. Change the dates to 5/1/2017 and 5/31/2017 and click the Refresh button. To print the report to your Chapter 11 Practice Problem folder, click File on the main menu and click Save as PDF. Navigate to your folder and name the report Time by Job Summary. To print the journal report, click Reports on the main menu, point to Accountant and Taxes, scroll over to the submenu and click Journal. Change the dates on the report to May 1st and 31st. Click File and Save as PDF to print the report. Navigate to your Chapter 11 Practice Problem folder. Name the report Journal. Close the report. To print the Profit and Loss report, click Reports on the main menu. Point to Company and Financial. Scroll over to the submenu and click Profit and Loss Standard. Change the dates to 1/1/2017 and 5/31/2017. Click the Refresh button. Click File on the main menu and Save as PDF. Navigate to your Chapter 11 Practice Problem folder and name the report Profit and Loss Standard Report. Close the report. To print the Balance Sheet report, click Reports on the main menu and point to Company and Financial. Scroll over to the submenu and click Balance Sheet Standard. Change the date to 5/31/2017 and click the Refresh button. Click File on the main menu and click Save as PDF. Navigate to your Chapter 11 Practice Problem folder and name the report Balance Sheet. Close the report.